Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, JEONG SINAH, and today we're going to be doing another tournament battle. This is the Behind the Wall tournament. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player facing off against a red rank 20 resistance player. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we see here that I am actually going to go for a ground build here. I'm going for Zeus combined with Torrents. This is my second time using this strategy on this particular map. Let's see what Red's up to. We get a Cyclone over to Red to scout them out. Red is HQ3, 3 different factories with lots of supply centers. Looks like Red knows what they're doing. They're going for a good build. So my combination build is going to be Zeus, Torrents, and Typhoons, going for a full HQ3 army before I start to make my push. We see a Dragonfly getting a scout onto my base there, and we can see that I'm just continuing to tech up here. I'm actually going to be producing some hammer tanks as well. Those are going to be cannon fodder for the Zeus tanks. So here comes my Torrents. We can see I've got a lot of Torrents. We're going to start to exert some pressure onto the red player. Torrents raining down heavy fire onto those gun towers. I'm going to throw on a gold vehicle attack boost to boost the power of my vehicles. And right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if I can draw out the red player. And if I can get red to commit to an attack, then I can concentrate fire on the entrance of the base there, and I can decimate the red player's ground army. And just like that, here comes the resistance player. We see a chameleon army moving in. So red is already HQ4. I am still HQ3 at this time. So we can see I'm dishing out some heavy damage against the ground army from the red player though. Red is in a little bit of trouble now. They just lost the chameleon, and these Jaguar tanks are just getting crushed by my Zeus tanks. And now I've got essentially a full ground army at the red player's base. Red's in trouble. They lost pretty much their entire ground army, and I took minimal casualties. Here comes the Dragonfly trying to move in. I've got plenty of Typhoons in the mix though. Dragonflies are not going to be a problem to deal with. And here come my Zeus tanks now starting to move in. We're starting to decimate the front defensive structures. Red is trying to produce more chameleons and jaguars to defend their base. Are they going to be able to repel my assault here? My Zeus tanks are slowly moving in. They are force firing onto the fog and trying to hit those Jaguar tanks. And we can see that my tanks are continuing to move forward. We've got a wall of steel slowly cleaning up the red player's base. Red is desperately trying to defend. We see more Jaguar tanks coming out of the factories. My Torrents are continuing to rain down heavy fire from a distance while the Zeus tanks move in to close on those Jaguar tanks. Those Typhoons in there are just providing that anti-air support as needed. Zeus tanks continuing to fire on different buildings here. We can see the factories from red are still in production of vehicles to try and defend. Here comes a hammer tank as well from my end of things. We can see there's 2 more Jaguar tanks rolling up. More chameleon fog being activated from the resistance side. And we can see that I'm still at full command points right now. Red is trying to repel my assault here, but I do have the combat initiative. Red is slowly starting to lose infrastructure here. They're not able to get to my Torrents, which are dishing out damage against the buildings here. Here comes a Hawk, but that is a bad idea. That Hawk is getting crushed by those Typhoons, and the Hawk is going to go down, no problem. I'm actually running out of Zeus tanks here. I didn't micro as well as I could have, so I'm actually going to pull back my vehicles, and I'm going to start to mix in some more Zeus tanks as well as some infantry. I'm trying to keep momentum going from this attack just so we can keep red on their toes here. We see multiple Jaguar tanks rolling up to my troops here. Common attack boost gets thrown on. My infantry are going to move in along with the hammer tank. The assault are just to tank damage from the Jaguar tanks while my vehicles dish out the damage. And here we go, more vehicles and troops are moving in. Red is slowly starting to lose more infrastructure. My Torrents have been continuing to dish out steady damage uninterrupted against this red player. And Red's economy at this point, considering that they haven't had a chance to rebuild, is slowly starting to become non-existent. which is making it more difficult for this red player to defend their base. So my Torrents are just continuing to clean up a few more buildings there. Looks like red's only down to a couple Jaguar tanks right now. We see a third Jaguar tank rolling up, but these first two Jaguar tanks are just getting crushed. Look at the Torrents. They are dishing out so much damage against these tanks. And I'm just continuing to reinforce the front line here, not giving red a chance to rebuild. And my Torrents are continuing to steadily dish out damage against those Jaguar tanks. Red is down to just spamming Jaguar tanks out of 2 to 3 factories, but we can see that red just doesn't have the economy to keep it going. And this is not looking good for the red player at all. I'm going to switch to a red attack boost at this point. Feeling pretty good about my chances for this game. Rest of this game is going to be me just cleaning up the base. Alright, hopefully you all enjoyed this battle. We will see you in the next one. Good luck until then.